Hello, today I'm going to review the LUNATIK Taktik iPhone 4 4S case. Now this is for the 4 and the 4S. They have, with the vibrate switch, accommodated for the slight difference in the placement of the vibrate on the 4 versus the 4S. Now as you can see, this is the white version. They also have pink, black, yellow, and then in a different material, aluminum, they have silver and black. Now, the aluminum versions will run you for about $175. The white and the other colors with Gorilla Glass, which I'll talk about later, is $125, and without Gorilla Glass and with the plastic high-impact polymer material, that will be $100. That is their base price for these units. Now, I ordered this one a few weeks ago, and I really have been happy with it so far. The Gorilla Glass, as I said I would talk about, has been really great. What it is it's basically a separate sheet of glass that comes with the case that encloses your phone and protects it while keeping the quality of the screen and the images on it very high, unlike other cases like a LifeProof or an OtterBox that sometimes come with a plastic screen cover that can get kind of grimy and a little bit foggy, which I find annoying. I had an OtterBox before this case, and I have made the switch, and that was a big problem with me, and I'm glad they came up with a fix for that. Now, the vibrate switch, as I talked about, is very interesting. They solve the issue of keeping the case completely enclosed while continuing to have access to the vibrate switch by adding they call it, it's like guns, like a gun safety style. That's how they classify it, I believe. So basically this is it on vibrate, and by pushing the switch this way I change it, and now it is on this loud ringer mode, and then clicking it again back, that's vibrate. Now this has been great. As you can see, it's very high build quality. It's metal right here. The only problems I have with it is that if I'm in a class, for instance, and my pocket does tend to push it either way, so what I have found is that I have to, when I'm in a situation where I really don't want it to ring, I have to go into the settings and turn on the Do Not Disturb mode, which is not that much of a hassle, but it can be annoying if that type of thing annoys you. Now up here, moving along, this is the headphone cover jack. The headphone jack cover, excuse me. It is made out of metal, and in this case, a yellow goldish color. Now this, you can open like so. It's fairly easy and moves very stiffly and securely. It feels right. It's not going to break off anytime soon in your hands. Now, as you can see, the headphone jack is pretty deep in there, so only certain kind of headphones can really fit. I use a Bose headphones, and my jack, I can get it in there, but it takes some jostling, and getting it out is a little rough. But basically what I recommend is if you don't use the Apple generic headphones, Skull Candy, or some other headphones, which they do list on their website that really do work, I would get a converter that you can just put in there. It's really not that big of a deal, but there are some things you're sacrificing for protection on this case. So this also, it clicks in when you're closing it. It's got a little bit of a lip here, a grommet that kind of fixes in and clicks in very nicely. So it's high build quality up here as well. Moving along, on this side, this is the 9mm impact truss they call it. So basically you can kind of squish it. You can feel it with your fingers that you can squish it. And what it is there's air holes in the rubber so that when it's knocked against something, it's like a shock absorber. So that's a really good innovation that they had with this case. So that's something to note. And then moving along, here is the 30-pin in the charger plug, sorry. So this is also pretty deep in there, so a converter is necessary a lot of the time to get things in and out of there, so docks don't work for this phone, And I also have noticed that while most of the Apple chargers work, if you have an old Apple charger or one for an iPad, the ones that you have to click on the sides, that will not fit in this. So you need to have the new ones, the very skinny, thin ones, and those will fit perfectly. But almost nothing else fits with this case. So I bought a dock extender so that I can use my iPhone with this. It's like $2 on Amazon. It's not that big of a deal. But again, there's a lot sacrificed for protection on this case. Also, here you can see the two holes for the speakers. These are covered with a dust and water resistant, not proof, so this is not a submergible case, kind of a mesh that goes over inside of these holes. So the sound quality is not affected, and they have worked very well for me. Moving along, over here I'm not sure if you can really see it, but here are the volume buttons right next to the vibrate switch, obviously. They are good. They're high build quality. They do have a plus and minus on them. I don't think you can really see it in my video camera, but they're kind of hard to press. But in a way, I enjoy that because it's not something you accidentally do, and they're hard enough. The reason why they're hard to press is because that way they don't get hurt in a fall. You can see they kind of come off the side a little bit. Yeah, so that's pretty much all that's going on around the sides of the case. And then there's the home button, of course, which is quite stiff, as you might have seen in other reviews. But once you get used to it, it just takes a little bit more effort to press, but really it's not that big of a deal, and I do kind of enjoy it again because it's not something that you can accidentally do, and it feels protected and it feels firm in your hand. And then up here, there is a sheet of glass that goes over the camera here. The sensor for the phone is exposed here. I will go into my phone and show you how the sensor still works. And the camera works totally fine. I haven't had any issues with that. You can see here, I'm just calling a random number. If you cover this, the phone does go dark like it does as if it was inside your head. So that's good. And then the power button is a little bit firm to the press as well, but after some days of use it loosens up a little bit and it feels secure in your hands, and it's well made and well done. Now the plastic also, it's of really high build quality. Virtually no seams are visible in this plastic, which is quite impressive for a company of their size. LUNATIK, I mean. They have these to get it on. It's a little complicated, but there's many videos that you can watch. I'm not going to show you how to get it on. But there's 6 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here on the body of the case that screw it together. Make sure, though, there's a lot of videos that don't mention this, but make sure that you keep even pressure all over the case as you're tightening the screws. So that way you can get a really good, clean fit of the phone. Okay, now as to the size of the case, a lot of people have complained about the size and the weight of this case, but actually I have found that it doesn't actually add that much weight. You can look on their website to find the exact weight and dimensions, but it really hasn't bothered me, and it does fit in my pockets of my jeans very well. I don't wear skinny jeans, so I don't really know how that would work, but and then on the back here, there's this exposed rubber here for skid, so that when you throw it onto something, if you have it down, if you throw it somewhere, it's supposed to keep it stuck on your dashboard if you're ever to throw it on your dash. But basically, it keeps it a little bit, so it's not going to slide around when you put it down, basically. And then there is no glass over the camera of this case, which I thought was interesting, but they do have it sealed. They call it a compression seal screen gasket, as well as on the front, so no water or dust is going to get in on the sides of the front, up here, or up in here. So it's really, and then they also, of course, they have this interesting feature. It's for, if you're ever going to, like, it's a lanyard hole, basically. So you can kind of see through that. So you can use a lanyard there if you want to clip it if you're skiing or something like that. That's the, if you're wondering what that was, that's the LUNATIK logo. Well placed, well done, nice logo. Everything about this case is really high build quality, highly well made. The only thing that I really wanted to talk about was the vibrate switch, which I did talk about. It can get a little annoying, but it has to do with that setting that came up in iOS 6.0, the do not disturb mode, so that pretty much covers that. That's pretty much my only fault with this case, is in the vibrate switch, and there is an easy solution, and most of the time, quite frankly, it doesn't really matter to me if my phone's going to ring, unless, of course, I'm in a class or some such event. Now, this is Corning. It's called Corning Gorilla Glass. I think Corning is a company. I'm not quite sure. But it's of really high quality, really clear screen resolution. It doesn't affect much. The only thing I have noticed is that while typing things in, I have had some issues with the typing, because if you're typing something, like if you're typing whatever you want to type, and then you're backspacing, the backspace is very close to the edge of the bezel here, so sometimes it can get frustrating to get to it, and then of course with the search and everything down here, the buttons are a little hard to get to sometimes. So that is a little frustrating, but overall it's a very small amount of it's a very small disruption when it comes, but it protects the case a lot. So I think overall the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to the Gorilla Glass. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. This is a great case. I picked this one up for $125 at lunatic.com. They're coming out with the iPhone 5 case soon. They haven't announced a date yet, or they are not available for pre-order, but you can sign up for their mailing list if you do have an iPhone 5, and they will send you updates on how much that's going to cost and when it's going to come out and when you can yourself pre-order it. Alright, that's pretty much all I want to say. I hope you enjoyed my review and found it helpful. If you have any questions, just comment on the video below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. This is the iPhone case made by Lunatic, called the Taktik. This is the Lunatic Taktik iPhone 4 4S case for sale on lunatic.com.